Hey, what's up guys? My name is Aphro from Tri-Cities, Washington. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to master 3 cuts. The Caesar, the mid-low bald fade, and the modern mullet for this year's 2019 3rd Annual Wall Online Barber Battle. Let's get started. Today we're going to do a Caesar cut on my model. Let's get started. So first things first, let's sweat down our canvas. Kind of analyzing the scalp at the same time. First step, let's remove all this bulk using the magic with our number 2. So first steps first, we're going to take down all this bulk going all the way to the parietal ridge. Following the same step all the way around the scalp. It's always important to brush your hair to keep your canvas clean. And make sure you're scooping out. It's always important. Using my wall designer, we're going to start our second guideline at the temple. Always make sure your canvas is clean at the same time. You always want to have a clean canvas. We're going to go around the scalp. The guideline we're following is around the crown area. Using my retro T-cut trimmers, we're going to take the rest of this bulk out. We're going right underneath the initial guideline. Never go up to the first line or you'll leave a hard line. Always go underneath it. Next step, using my designer's lever open, we're going to start an inch above the temple. Let's get started. Making sure we're using our corners to go at an angle. Same formation all the way around. Next step, using my 1 guard on my magics, lever closed, we're going to go up above the guideline, 1/2 inch.
Go.
Next step, with our lever open, we're going to erase this line between the 2 and the 1. Next step, with our 1.5 guard, lever open, we're going to go right underneath the parietal ridge. Next step, using our magics and our wall comb, we're going to start at the crown area and working our way forward to the top, doing a clipper over comb technique.
Go.
Next step, we're going to clip over comb our fringe area. Next step, we're going to erase all this bulk from the parietal ridge. Next step, with my designers, we're going to start from when we started at the temple to 1/2, which was 1/2 inch up, and we're going to work our way down to erase that first guideline. Next step, we're going to play with our levers so we can get a smooth transition. always important to use your mirror. See what we see erase. Next step, we're going to be using our wall comb and our wall cordless retro T-cut trimmers, and we're going to give our model texture on top. Let's start by combing it down. We're going to start from the crown and work our way down to the fringe. Okay, next step, we're going to line up the fringe area to give those crisp lines on our Caesar cut. Okay, now for our final touch, we're going to be using our texturizing powder to finish up our Caesar cut. This is the final result of the Caesar cut. Next, we're going to demonstrate a mid-low bald fade. We're going to start out with using our Magics and our number 3 clip. We're going to knock all this bulk out. Taking all the bulk out from the parietal ridge, dropping it down to the occipital bone. Next step, we're going to use my wall designers and start at the temple. So I'm going to setting my first guide and dropping it down to the occipital bone, around to the other side of the temple. Next step, we're going 1/2 inch up to the temple. So the ridge and then the temple, we're going to follow to hit our second guideline, all the way around, making sure even. Step, lever open with my 1 guard. We're going to go another 1/2 inch above the second guideline, up to the temple. So we're going to come up 1.5, all the way around, lever open. We're arching it at an angle just so we don't cut the hooks off. We want to keep those hooks dark. Step with our lever closed, we're going to take the guideline in between the 1.5 and the 1/2. Take it all out with our lever closed. All the way around. Dropping down underneath the occipital bone. With our 1.5 guard, lever open. We're going to go another 1/2 inch above the third guideline. Underneath. There we go. Remember, key is to scoop out. Next step, lever closed. We're going to get in between the 2 and the 1.5, just so we get the fine line. This gets any spots that we missed from the previous 1.5 and next step, using a comb and my Magics, lever closed, we're going to clip over comb all this bulk down to the occipital bone, around to the parietal ridge. Everything that's sticking out, we're going to blend it. My model has really coarse hair. Okay, using my comb, this heavy bulk above the parietal ridge, we're going to pick it up and give it a soft blend, just so it's not so heavy. Next step, we're going to erase our first guideline using the wall designers. Since I started with my lever closed, we're going to open it little by little till we reach our open. My next step with my lever open, we're going to start from where I started the 1/2 underneath the temple and drop fade it down Moving my lever little by little till it's closed. Lever closed to erase that first skyline. In between the first skyline and that line. Boom, lever open. Now we're going to drop fade. That should eliminate the line all the way around. This is called lever play. We're opening and closing so we will erase our first skyline. Using our corners if we have to, just so we don't go too high. Next, we're going to work on creating a hairline. Starting from the fringe, working our way around the corner, getting on that dark hook.
Yep.
For the finishing touch, we're going to use our lithium ion finale wall shaver. Tapping it as we go up. This will give it that smooth blend. Final look, we're going to be using texturizing powder to finish off the mid-bald fade. This is going to give it more of a matte finish, more natural. This is a mid-bald drop fade. And our final cut is a modern mullet. First we're going to start out by moving this hair that's hitting the parallel ridge to the front. We're going to clip it with the clip. Just so we don't touch any of that length. Combing it down with our wall comb. Next step, using our magic clip and our number 2 guard, we're going to go up, lever close, hit the parallel ridge, take out all that bulk. Remember, key is going straight up, scooping out, not passing the ear. Following the same step on the right side. Next step, using our magics and our wall comb, we're going to shorten the length above the occipital bone just so it blends into the back. Using a technique clip over comb, and then we're going to give it texture. With our lever closed, we're going to pull it out. Go under and pull it out. Coming around, everything evens out. Coming it down at the same time to make sure it blends into the bottom. Removing our clips so we can start trimming down the top area. Starting at the crown and working our way forward to the fringe. We're going to do about half his length. Now that we have our first guide length that we want, we're going to follow that from the left side to the right side. Starting at the crown again and finding our guide line. So from there, we're going to cut all that off to follow it. So I'm using a side back technique. Coming it across and moving it back. Next step, using our magics, lever closed, using a comb, we're going to give our mullet texture and work our way to the fringe, shorten it up, blend in all our edges. Starting from our crown, working our way down to the back, bringing out the comb, and chopping it in. Spacing it about 1 to ½ inch apart. This is giving a texture to our modern mullet. Working our way to the top. Now we're gonna trim down the fringe and give it texture at the same time. Picking it up, trimming it down. Picking it up, trimming it down. Using our wall retro T-cut cordless trimmers, we're gonna lift the hair above the nape using our wall comb to give it that more modern look. Going up 1.5 inches. Down, giving it that textured look. Going up, following that guideline, giving it that wispy look. Now we're going to start the fading process using our wall cordless designers, lever closed, and we're going to start at the temple. Repeat the same process from our right side to the left side. Key is always make sure that both sides are even. Now with our lever open, we're going to go up an inch above the temple and working our way, not passing the ear. Using our corner clipper is very important so you don't knock down more bulk than you're supposed to. Doing a rainbow technique so you keep those corners dark. Doing the same steps we did to our left side, to our right side. Making sure both sides are even. Using the corner. With our lever closed, we're going to start blending out the first line, guideline from the temple to our secondary line. Looking out, using our corners. Opening it up little by little until we see it disappear. And now we're going to drop fade it. So lever, little by little, we're closing. Next step, using our magics in our number one. Lever open. We're gonna start erasing the secondary line, starting from a 1.5, working our way down to a 1, since we use a 2 guard all along the parallel ridge. So we leave that hook dark. Scooping out. Using our 1.5 clip, lever open. We're going to take all this bulk out to give it more of a softer look. Scooping out at the same time, brushing it down. Next step, using our trimmers, we're going to trim all around the ear, around the hook, and up to the hairline. To give it that sharp, modern look. Okay, next step, using our magics, we're going to take out the remaining pieces we left behind to clean out the beard and underneath the temple, taking out the last patch we had left there. For the final look, we're going to add some texturizing powder to our modern mullet. This is the final look of the modern mullet.